I'd like to paint a broader picture of the data warehouse environment this week by discussing the types of data warehouses some of the major organizations of the world are using. It's a good idea to know what type of hardware and software is available and the companies that offer these types of services. You may be in a position one day to recommend what a company should use, and having an understanding of what is available in the market will be very helpful. This lecture will be a little different from the rest of the course, as I will discuss the data warehouse infrastructures that different companies are currently using and how those infrastructures have helped them to become successful. There is this phrase we sometimes hear: knowledge is power. These companies figured out at some point that a lot of knowledge can be gained through the analysis of a lot of data, and they haven't shied away from building monstrosities of data warehouses that in some cases take up an entire physical warehouse building, or more than one building. They have spent a lot of money to build infrastructures that can house and analyze their data collection processes, and have been able to perch themselves at the top of their industries as a result. I don't doubt that if they had simply continued to do business without this data collection, they would not have been able to reach their level of size and influence as they have today. Let's take a look at a few of these companies and what they are using. You have undoubtedly heard of cloud computing, and you're probably aware that Apple has created a large cloud infrastructure for users of Apple products and services to store a variety of information. And Apple also uses a large data warehouse to analyze all of the transactions that occur within their cloud, all of the purchases made on iTunes, and any other form of data transactions that take place across their infrastructure. Any piece of data that is identifiable goes into their warehouse for analysis. Apple uses an architecture developed by Teradata, which boasts, as many companies in this sector do, to have the world's most powerful database and a high degree of sophistication within their hardware and consulting services. Teradata has a scalable system that can be used for entry-level needs and then grown over time as those needs increase. You learned in earlier lectures that scalability is an important factor in data warehouses, and Teradata also recognizes that importance. It also helps them to secure customers at both ends of the spectrum. Apple is one of the wealthiest companies in the world. Their understanding of analyzing customer activity paired with monitoring market trends has helped them to rise to the top of the technology world, and now they have even more data to make future decisions. That is certainly a benefit of having a good data warehouse. Teradata's warehouse architecture is also used by eBay, Verizon, Ford Motor Company, and Siemens. If Apple is the king of the smartphone and mobile computing sector, then Facebook is certainly the king of the social media sphere. Facebook is a success story all by itself, and it has always profited off of the collection of user data. Even in its early days, they began collecting basic user information, and over the years they have been able to grow their infrastructure and their analysis capabilities by expanding the amount of information they collect. It's unclear what type of hardware infrastructure Facebook is using, but it is likely something built in-house, and is probably a large number of systems used to serially process information. They have revealed in a variety of white papers that they use Apache's Hadoop and Hive applications to manage their systems. Hadoop is a programming framework designed to process large amounts of data in a distributed computing environment. It is open source and is a common alternative to commercial data warehouses. Hive is a query language similar to SQL and is customized to work specifically within a Hadoop environment. These two pieces of software, along with Facebook's hardware architecture, allow the processing of data for more than 1.7 billion users. Facebook is even currently involved in creating internet access points within third world countries that have little or no access to the internet. They're developing lightweight drone aircraft that can stay in the air for approximately 1 month and beam internet connections down to users on the ground. This is a novel idea and will certainly connect many more people to the digital world, and it will also give Facebook access to data points they cannot currently acquire. More data, more analysis, more success, and a greater ability to provide services to the world. Since I mentioned Facebook, I also have to mention Google. Google has become a household word and even a verb at times to describe the action of searching for something. Google has many data centers around the world, and their data warehouses are built from their own custom architecture. They are generally tight-lipped about what they use and how they use it, but they have revealed custom hardware architectures that perform distributed computing, and they have their own data warehouse architecture that they have named BigQuery. It's not such an insane idea that the company who has essentially ruled the internet search market for more than a decade needed to create their own systems to store all the data they have collected. A unique design of BigQuery is that it does not use a server and has no need for a database administrator, allowing other companies that use it to focus on the analysis of their data instead of spending time and resources on the administration of an architecture. This is because the data is stored in Google's own cloud infrastructure, and the systems are managed by Google. This architecture is able to search through terabytes of data in seconds and petabytes of data in a few minutes. That is incredibly fast and allows users to get the results on their queries so quickly that management will have no problem making informed decisions in the same day that they request the query to be run. Like Google, Amazon has also created their own form of a data warehouse and made it available for other organizations to use. It is called Redshift, and it eliminates the complexity of designing, building, and maintaining an entire infrastructure. Their product model is simple and straightforward. Use their infrastructure and expertise so you can focus on the analytics you need to run your company. Many people think of Amazon simply as an online storefront, but they were smart to enter the data warehouse market and have been very successful in this arena. Netflix has been using Amazon's web services since its launch to host its video streaming services, and the uptime and speed of that service is incredibly rigorous. It stands to reason that their data warehouse solutions are equally rigorous, and with the scalability they offer, any company could jump right into the data warehouse world without having to pay a lot of money or worry about all of the hardware requirements. When you don't have to manage or tune any hardware or software, and you just pay for what you are using, many of the headaches involved in data warehousing are eliminated. Small companies can definitely compete against larger competitors by using a service like Redshift. Different companies take different approaches to how they collect, store, and analyze their data, but one thing is the same across all of these organizations. Their data warehouse solutions have allowed them to become incredibly successful, and it is unlikely Facebook, Google, or any other purely internet-based company could be successful without the use of a data warehouse. Many different organizations have created architectures to support these needs, and they are all very viable choices. What you or a company uses will most likely depend on the budget that is available. If you search the internet, you will find many more available solutions, and even those will have their own sets of pros and cons. As we wrap up this course, I want to tie together all the week's lessons into a few final thoughts. Collecting information, storing it in an accessible way, and analyzing it to generate needed results is something every organization seems to have a need for. As you leave this course, you should have a good foundational understanding of big data, what it is, why it is important, and why so many people are trying to get their hands on as much data as possible. And you should be able to appreciate why so many stores are constantly vying for you to give them even more information about yourself. There are a variety of ways that we can collect data, and a variety of important decisions and actions that can be taken as a direct result of data analytics. I hope your understanding of data warehouses were challenged and that you are now able to think about areas in the organizations you work in where analytics can bring improvement. Many of the challenges we face in this environment can be overcome with good planning up front, or those challenges can be shifted to another organization if we choose to use a service like Redshift or BigQuery. We can choose to fully manage a system in-house or let someone else handle the bulk of the work. And that too will probably be driven by the available budget. I'd like to wrap up the course with one final thought. Data collection and analysis isn't going anywhere. It is right up there with computer security, and it will continue to grow as long as we continue to rely on technology. Use it to your advantage, and you will be successful.